All right. Good morning. Good morning, Panther fans and fans of other teams. Now, in case you're new here, you're wondering why the Miami drug dealer get up, migraines. They're almost gone, but I got to be careful, so I'm wearing the sunglasses. Now, um, we're just going to jump right into it. Now, I want to say a couple of things, and then Stu has something that he's going to play for everybody, and then we're going to discuss it. I noticed, especially Leaf fans, especially on Twitter, are all up in arms about the hit from yesterday. What I will say is this: the people that watch the Bally's feed know that Gabranson laid there until the whistle was blew and jumped up. The people that watch the NHL feed, the NHL network, don't know that. They didn't see that part. The people that watch the NHL network feed know that Gabranson apparently tried to get at an earlier point Cousins to drop the gloves, and he wouldn't. The people that watch the Bally's feed didn't see that. So, in the spirit of things that some of us are not being shown and not being allowed to see, Stu sent me a video from TSN that apparently, if you're not in Toronto, you're not supposed to be able to see it. So go ahead, Stu. Play the video and tell them what it is.
No, that's the beauty of having VPN. Anyway, Craig Button is a very well-known hockey analyst, was on the NHL Network, TSN. He was a former GM. Here's his take on things.
From Sunday, we're going to get to the Kyle Connor incident in just a second. But I want to talk a little bit about this Gudbranson thing. I mentioned it. Cousins, the match penalty reduced to 2 minutes for boarding. Gudbranson's going to be hearing for the Department of Player Safety on Monday. What did you make of the whole incident?
Well, you know, I know there's a lot of outcry that it was a dangerous hit. Now, he got boarding penalty. The referees on the first glance of it said match. But Branson's trying to cut the net, and Cousins is trying to cut him off. He's trying to make contact with his shoulder and inside his body. Yes, I get the boarding penalty, but I don't see it as something where it's a vicious hit from behind. I don't see it that way. And so now later on in the game, okay, Eric Branson wants to take matters into his own hands. That's okay. The Department of Safety is going to take matters into their own hands, because what Eric Branson did is unacceptable. He's going to get suspended on the aggressor side of things, and he should be suspended. Jumping a player and beating on a player like that because you didn't like the hit that didn't go your way, I get it. But the bottom line is, I think the referees got it exactly right. In real time, match penalty, and now they get a chance to review it. And they said, wait a second here. It's only a 2-minute boarding penalty, which I think is totally acceptable, because the play wasn't about Cousins chasing somebody. Branson's trying to cut the net, and Cousins is trying to get there. Branson got caught there, and so did Cousins on the boarding, but that's all it deserved, was a 2-minute penalty in my view. Branson's going to get a lot more than that. He's going to miss games.
Let's talk about Ryan Strome's hit on Kyle Connor.
All right.
Yep. So, yeah.
That's
good morning.
That's a guy that has no skin in the game, so to speak.
Exactly. So, good morning to everybody in the chat. We got Gators Tim, Rosado, AJ. I have to lift my glasses up to see you guys, so I won't see your comments immediately. So Stu, I had a lot to say, and I still have more to say, but I want to hear the Stu rant this morning, or maybe you stayed up all night again and you don't have a rant.
So you want me to discuss the play or the game?
Yeah, that's all anybody is taling about right now.
Okay.
We can get to the game at the back end, but everybody that's clicking on this video wants to hear what I have to say.
Well, first of all, in my opinion, that wasn't boarding. Boarding to me is a cross check to the back, right into the boards. That was kind of a side hit. I did not see any intent to injure. It's just, he hit him funny. He's not funny, but he hit him in a weird way. And you're right. He went down like he was shot and milked it. The embellishment, like you said, if there was anything for embellishment, that's it. As soon as the whistle blew, he got up and attacked, Cousins. So that's that. But what he did after the fact is like, you know, he broke the unwritten rule, man. You don't jump a guy. You look at him, and I'd say 99%, 99.9% of a player, he knows that he's going to be challenged to fight after a hit like that. And he didn't even give Cousins a shot. I mean, again, in the old days,
yeah,
they never had a situation where a guy got hit with a clean hit or a questionable hit or whatever, unless it was like a two-handed tomahawk chop to a guy's knees, or, you know, whatever, or an elbow to the face or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. For those who didn't grow up with hockey before the internet, nobody even blinks at that. There's a 5-second highlight that says, "Look at that hit by Cousins," and then the play continued. I mean, and I get the game has changed. I get it, but that doesn't mean it's the same thing with football. Just because they're calling it roughing the passer now, don't mean people are really roughing the passer and out to be malicious. Now, I even said to people, look, if you want to argue that it was boarding, I'm not even here to have that argument. You know what I mean? Because I can see both sides. But all I can say is that the difference in there's hockey fans on Twitter and then there's Leaf fans on Twitter. And I'm only saying it on Twitter because the Leaf fans in the comments to the video so far, maybe they're disagreeing, but there's nobody that's called me a moron, told me I don't know how because I never played hockey, et cetera, et cetera. And Nick Cousins broke some people when he scored that goal to win that series against the Leafs. But back to my point where I started, if you were watching the NHL Network feed, what you did not see is what Bally showed us after the scrum. They went to commercial, they come back. And Randy Moeller made a camera. That was weird. Can you guys still see me and hear me?
Yep.
Okay. That might be my internet flashing out. Hopefully I'm okay. Yeah, it's Toronto messing with my internet. So what Randy Moeller showed, they played the highlight with the sound from the ice. And Gabranson is laying there. And he's laying. And the second that whistle blows, he jumps up like a madman and goes after Cousins. He only got the whistle because he was laying there so still. We've all seen, in fact, we saw it in a game the other day. If a hockey player goes down and then starts to try to get up and they're slow and everything, they're not blowing the whistle. They don't blow the whistle unless a guy is face planted on the ground and ain't moving. And he, in my opinion, if you don't believe me, find the Ballers replay. I'm going to try today. Somebody, if you guys can find it, we got to find that thing that Randy Moeller showed us, because Gabranson he's basically, I'm being hyperbolic, but he's basically laying there like he's dead on the ice, not moving. And the second he gets that whistle, which only comes because he's laying there like that, he jumps up after Cousins. But the people that only watch the NHL Network feed didn't see that. So before you go calling people morons and all of that, make sure you've got both sides of the coin, just like with the people that only saw the Bally's feed. Apparently, the people that saw the NHL Network feed, they saw something where Gabranson tried to get Cousins to drop the gloves and Cousins wouldn't, which probably further infuriated Gabranson, obviously. But depending on what feed you watched, you got a completely different take. And apparently what I've been told, and I'll let you have the mic, Stu, I'm sorry. Apparently what I was told was that on the NHL Network, they didn't even show the same angle of the hit that they were showing on Bally's. They were showing an opposite angle. So your opinion on this, you got to make sure you watch both feeds and all of the highlights before you go call people morons for their opinion. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I don't know how much more I can add. You just, you called it. The thing that I don't understand is, well, I do understand it. It's Panthers. 7-minute, and I can't recall ever seeing that where a player that was involved in a fight got 5 minutes for fighting and the other player didn't? How many times have we seen a player basically catching punches and he gets 5 minutes because he's involved in the fight? So the Panthers got a 7-minute power play.
Yeah.
And the 5-minute power play, they could have scored as many goals as we could have scored.
Yeah.
And, of course, we didn't. And then we got lucky. Actually, Bennett and Goldie pointed it out. Bennett made a great play, just pushing the puck over enough to Barkov to bury it. Who knows? We might have hit another post. But, that kind of put a dagger in them.
Yeah.
And the rest was history. 2 empty nets. So let's move on from that. And it's one of those plays. We're going to have Columbus and the Panthers playing another game, and obviously Cousins has to answer the call. I'm sure it's going to be something like opening whistle. They're going to be lined up against each other, and they're going to drop the gloves, and we'll have to see what happens. But Eric Branson went down. That's a player that was pretty much beloved by all Panther fans. And when he was traded, like you said, your Flying Fluffy Hockey might not have been born if Gabranson hadn't been traded.
Yeah.
But he just went out the window in my book. That's a pussy move.
Yeah.
That's a dirty move. And all players in the league, they hockey players, they're it's a game of respect, and sometimes guys cross the line, and that was one of those plays where you don't just jump a guy, not only throw him to the ice, but then he's down on the ice and you start pounding on him.
Yeah, that's not okay. That part.
And I don't like the fact that the linesmen, the refs, whoever, didn't jump right in.
Right. No,
or didn't allow one of our players. I think first it was Kachuk and then it was Bennett.
Yeah.
Trying to get Gabranson off him.
Yeah.
So Gabranson might be a target in the next game.
Yeah, April 11th. Gadjevich definitely needs to be on the ice.
And that's a good point that you made in your recap last night. That's a reason for Gadjevich, whatever, to be on the ice.
Yeah.
And I think look, nothing against Lawrence, but I think Gotcha is a more effective player on that fourth line.
I agree.
He brings that element. He's
got a little bit of that horny in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've got a bunch of people in the chat. I just want to recognize. Dylan says, "What a fun Sunday afternoon game. Those are usually normally our worst enemy." That's very true. AJ says he saw Bennett try to go with Gabranson, but Gabranson only wanted Cousins. Good morning, Jackson. And Rosado says people are calling Goldie and Randy the worst NHL announcers in the NHL, and I guess Tim is talking about a specific Leaf fan. So, look, I mean,
haters are going to hate. We have all these fans from these other teams, and listen, I'm a Leafs fan. Don't throw it out on us, guys. Your team, your team bit the sour tomato in the play. You guys wanted us. We want Florida. Well, that's pretty stupid to do that. It's one of those instances where an article comes out where a player's blasting another team and they put it on the board in the locker room for extra motivation.
Yeah.
So the next time the Leafs and the Panthers get together.
That's going to be fun. Yeah.
But
it's good though. It's good. Look, other than that, I mean, it's a good thing that happened because the game was pretty boring up until that point. It was your typical Paul Maurice masterclass, like Kyle likes to say. I mean, hell, we didn't even have any penalties until the third period.
Yep. And then the floodgates opened up. It was funny because you and I had just talked about that.
Yeah.
And texting that, hey, no, this is weird, no penalties. But as soon as we said that, and as soon as Goldie said that, the next thing you know, there were a lot of penalties handed out. Listen, we came out, got a quick goal under a minute, Forsling, boom, and then that goal that Stolarz let up. I mean, you didn't like it, I didn't like it either. It's one of those. Like Bob gives up in the beginning of the game. They're not settled in yet, and he got beat. Plain and simple.
I'm sorry. I was just saying to your point. I was just concerned about Stolarz because of his previous performance there, giving up 4. It's like can't have a weak performance against Columbus because they do have some decent players.
Yeah, they were missing Boone Jenner, the captain. Yeah. He's been, it was him and Blake Wheeler, but 2 Panther killers. But he settled down. He made some good saves.
Yes.
Not a big offensive effort by us, but 2 points. That's the most important thing.
So one thing we learned was that it's not Rodriguez making that top line with Barkov and Reinhart go, because Maurice switched it all up. And like I said in the recap, the only thing it did was now it made Rodriguez invisible next to Lundell. So,
well, what's happened now is that after a lot of time, and I'm sure a lot of practices, Reinhart and Barkov have finally found that chemistry.
Yeah.
Took longer than we thought or we had hoped it would.
Right.
But now those guys are clicking. Those guys are like Huberdeau and Barkov. They know where each other are. I mean, Reinhart had 4 assists in that game.
Jeez.
Barkov had a goal and 2 assists.
Right.
So between the 2 of them, 7 points.
Yeah. And the game, I think the game before that, it was like 9 points. Because that was the highlight that they had started the game with, like those 2 before. I guess it was that line. It had 9 points.
The only thing that sucks is that we can't clone Verhaeghe, so he plays on both lines. Because Cousins ain't getting the job done with that with Bennett and Tkachuk. We need to find a right-handed. We need to find a good. I don't know about Stenlin, but I would just mix it up and put somebody else on that second line, not Cousins. I'm sorry, Cousins. I like the guy, but he's not the answer to that line.
Right. No, I mean, I don't disagree. Look,
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Put Luostarinen back on that line. Well, and move Chucky to the right side. Lundell and Luostarinen ain't getting the job done either. So you might as well just break it up.
Then we're going to put Verhaeghe. So then if you move Luostarinen up.
Yeah, so you got Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Reinhart.
Uh-huh.
And you got Tkachuk, Bennett, and Luostarinen. And then you got Lundell, Cousins, and whoever.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but
I'd rather have the top 6 solid than spread it out and hope that 3 and 4 are going to do the job.
I still say move Lundell out of center and onto a wing somewhere and put Stenlin at 3C. That to me is the move if you want to try to make up for the fact that Nick Cousins, because there's nothing you can do. If you can keep rearranging the same 9 guys, you're going to have the same problem. Lundell isn't scoring and Cousins can't finish. You could move them around, but you're still on one line going to have the same problem. So to me, I think you move Stenlin up to 3C because whenever Lundell has moved to wing, he's done a lot better. It's like he relaxes into just playing a more relaxed game. And I'm not saying permanent, but people forget Vinny Trocheck went back and forth, center and forward until he had developed completely and found his game.
And he has found his game. I watched the replay of the Rangers Kings.
Yeah.
And Trocheck had 3 primary assists.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but to me,
all right, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Lundell go up on wing. He'd probably go up on Barkov's wing.
Right.
I think that's a better fit, the 2 Finns, than
even if it's just for a game.
Line. What's that?
I say even if it's just for a game, just to see if you can, unclog the clog for Lundell. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, something's got to be done with him, because it's it's game after game. It's just not effective at all offensively.
Right. And but I was also impressed by I talked about this, the Sam Bennett post. Now, if you stood in the crease where he was and tried to hit the post so that the puck didn't go in the net, it would take you a few tries to miss the net the way he did in that moment.
Happens.
I know. It's just crazy. I mean,
Ekman Larson hit the post.
Yeah.
I think Columbus hit the post once. But again, this is a game. Both of us did not agree with Stolarz being in there, but you know what? It's okay. And I said to you before the game started, are we going to get the Dr. Jekyll Stolarz or the Mr. Hyde Stolarz? And didn't look promising after he let that goal in, but after that he settled. He's like Bob.
Well,
he just settled down. And
now one thing about Stolarz, because a couple people gave me a little bit of grief in the comments about me being wary about Stolarz. Now, I've been talking about this in the podcast, but it's for members only. Not that many people. There's about 30 or 40 people that listen, so maybe you missed it. But I went and I did a deeper dive into Stolarz history. And consistently, year over year, game after game, he is wildly inconsistent. He will have a game with a 980 save percentage and then a 780 percentage. And he'll give up 5 and then 1 and then 2 and then 5 and 4 and then a shutout. So his numbers end up evened out in the middle. We're like, okay, he's given up 2.75 and he's got a 9-10 save percentage. But it's not a consistent, it's really good games and really bad games. And that's been throughout. I went and I looked through the game logs of his whole career. And that's why when he has that's why when we put him in, I'm nervous, because I'm like, which dude are we getting? And that's been him his whole career. So
right, but the difference now is he's got a real good defense in front of him.
Yeah.
Belinkus, I say, I know you got to get these guys some ice time, and I'm expecting Josh Maher to be in at least one of these 4 games. But again, don't try and fix something that ain't broke. The Kulikov-Larson third pair is solid.
Right. Well, from the way that Maurice said it, he talked about it a little bit. It sounds like Kulikov, Mahura, Belinskis are just going to rotate, and if they don't like it, they can screw off. That was, I mean, that's not exactly what he said, but basically that's what he said. It's tough shit if you don't like it.
Yeah. In the meantime,
I got 8 NHL defensemen, and they're all going to play.
In the meantime, Montour and Ekblad are not. They're not lighting the house on fire for me.
It won't go in, man.
No,
it just won't go in.
No, I don't expect them to sit, but.
No. I mean, with the puck. I mean, Montour's shooting.
Oh, I'm just saying. I mean, Ekblad had a pretty good opportunity to score, and he put it short side and missed.
Yeah, I saw that
on the one good opportunity that he had. Montour's just trying to force it too much. But another solid game by Forsling and by Larson, and Mikkola is definitely the out of all the pickups.
Yeah,
Mikkola is the pick.
Yeah,
this summer.
Yeah,
the guy is just impresses me every game.
Yeah, yeah. And
so, all right, so we got Columbus out of the way.
Right. Yeah.
Now we got Seattle.
Now we got Seattle. All the late games.
That's a game we should win if we show up and play our game. You know, we get Bob his 4 goals.
Right.
You know, that's the key right now is the offense has to score. But if you're looking at all these games now, here's another game where we kept the opposition to 1 goal. We got to be moving. We got to be moving up the ranks as far as, you know, goals against.
Right. Well, we remember we gave up the second one late when they had pulled the
pulled
the guy.
I don't even count that one.
It was getting a little bit dicey there. They were within a goal.
Yeah.
You know. But I mean, the point still stands. We've been playing really well on defense. It's especially, you know, once the forwards last year figured out how hard they had to work in this system and that they need to come back and you know, forecheck, back check, forecheck. As long as everybody does their job, there's no space for teams to, you know, to get moving. I mean, geez. I mean, Columbus does have some good players, but yesterday there were multiple times where we were set up in the offensive zone like it was a power play, and they had just backed off of us. It's like, but it's still 5-on-5. Why are you not going to the guy with the puck? There's nobody open. You know what I mean? There's no extra man.
Well, like I said, we gotta take Seattle down because Vancouver and Edmonton and Winnipeg, those are 3 games I'm worried about every one of them.
No, it's Calgary.
Calgary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why Winnipeg is not in there. That's usually in that Western Canada swing.
Did them, though,
but
right?
Vancouver and Edmonton are going to be the tough games.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
Calgary, we should win, but sometimes we don't bring it in Calgary. And of course, you know, we got Johnny Boy.
Right.
Crying the blues. He's going to look to do some damage.
Oh, so far, all the teams we played, the ex-Panthers getting the goals. So you know damn well. Okay. We'll win 5-2, and it'll be Huberdeau and Weegar with the goals.
Yeah, all I know is Edmonton's on a roll right now.
Yeah.
After their shitty start, I think they won 7 in a row. Yeah. And McDavid is just lighting it up. I think he's got like 14, 15, or 16 points in the last 7 games.
Isn't that crazy how bad they were playing, and then all of a sudden just like
almost
as fast as Gabranson got up off the ice, just boom. 1 second they were dead, and the next second they looked just like themselves. Strange how that works. Yeah, and Tim says Montour's not getting $7 million now. Yeah, they need to sign some damn contracts. I'm getting nervous at this point, man. And I'm sure Zito don't know what to do now either, right? Because they had said they were working on Montour's and Forsling's extension, but now he's got to be looking at maybe I should sign Sam Reinhart first and worry about what comes next.
Well, you know, everybody knows my feelings on how to make that happen.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
Not going to bring it up again.
But
Zito's, if there was ever a time for the magician to, you know, put his magic spell in and make things happen, I don't know how he's going to do it. But where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. Just show up. Hey, do you want to end up like Johnny? No, we didn't sign this damn contract. That's how you do it. You know,
Reinhardt's definitely earning. He's definitely earning his big payday.
Oh yeah, yeah, right. And that's part of why Montour is probably pushing it, trying to score, because every game that goes by that he doesn't look like he can replicate what he did last year. That's money.
Yeah, it's just amazing that, you know, those 2 guys, Montour and Eggplant, are just. I don't even know if they have any goals between them.
No. They've got some.
And that's the point. That's a big point I want to make right now, because I was texting with Tom, and we got to get more scoring from other guys besides
Yeah.
Reinhardt, Verhaeghe, and now Barkov's got 10 goals.
Yeah.
You know what? Stenlin's got 8 and Larson's got 7. But we got to get some goals from Lundell, Luosterainen. Okay, he had an empty netter. Lombard.
Right.
Stenlin, yeah. Whoever is in, whether it be Lorenz or Gachovic.
Yeah.
You know, Kulikov. Mikola's, you know, he's doing his thing. But we need to get some secondary scoring from other guys.
Yep.
Hey, listen, I'll take Verhaeghe and Reinhardt scoring every game.
Yeah.
Well,
until we have to pay them.
Yeah, well.
Until we have to pay them both. But they come into Zito's office and Reinhardt scored 60 and Verhaeghe scored 50.
Yeah.
You know?
But these games coming up this week going to be a big test, big test for us.
Yep, big test. Exactly what I was going to say. So, all right. You got anything else?
Nope.
Okay. So, like I said at the start, Panther fans, I think Nick Cousins broke the Leafs. They broke some of the Leaf fans. It's weird how the Leaf fans on YouTube have all been nice enough, even if they disagree, they're like cordial and like normal people. I don't know who those people over are on Twitter, but their brains are broken. It's bad, man. It's like not just me. I mean, just like towards like if you just was a normal person, be like, I don't think it was boarding. It's just like you can't say that. I mean,
well, I'll tell you, there were two worse hits yesterday. One was the knee-on-knee Kyle O'Connor.
Right.
He's going to be out. Blatant, you know, intent to injure. Right. And then there was another cross-check to the head where Dylan Larkin got knocked out.
Yeah.
He was face first in the ice.
Right.
Those were a lot worse than the Cousins hit.
Yeah.
Again, the Cousins hit to me, and I've watched a lot of boarding penalties not get called. But that was not cross-check to the numbers where, guy goes face first in the boards. It was just a weird angle, weird hit.
Right.
To me, it wasn't boarding.
No, and the second part to the hit, because when Cousins hits him, it actually turns Cousins around, and he's off of his skates. It ended up lifting Cousins up, and that's when he hit him the second time, because he hit him, he backed into him. I mean, if anybody thinks that you can do that on purpose, be flying at 1,000,000 miles an hour that way and then turn around, I mean, that's some world-class figure skating stuff. I don't even know if those guys can do that. Maybe they can. I don't think Nick Cousins is skilled enough to do what he did.
Man, don't think Eric Gudbranson is Mr. Clean. He's made some questionable hits over the years.
Yeah,
So,
but hey, look, people have opinions. That's fine. The thing that I don't understand the getting to the point where you're just calling other people. What's that? What you got? Is that
garbage truck?
I thought they were delivering.
No, we're good.
Lamborghini.
They're not here. They're on the next.
Okay. I thought they were.
But yeah, listen.
Lamborghini.
That's the internet for you. Anybody can sit behind their keyboard and just spew out hatred and bullshit and whatnot, and not even know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It is what it is. So, all right. Thanks everybody for joining us live this morning. Appreciate that. Kyle and I will be live 15 minutes, whatever it is, 8 o'clock tonight for the Dolphins and the Titans Monday Night Football. And then we'll be live. We're doing the late games unless I'm dead, and then I'll make Kyle still do it live from my funeral. It'll be Panthers Kraken, 10 o'clock at night start. Yikes.